All club over the years.
Well, I'm a bit like yourselves. I mean, I never get lost for words a lot of the time. But I was dumbstruck up there. 90th minute, no attempts on target. Manchester City cruising through. And then that happened. I mean, the second goal was an amazing goal by Rodrigo. It just comes off Asensio's head and he still gets up. And then them to go on and win it, it's just beggars belief, really, after what we saw against PSG, what we saw against Chelsea, for them to do it tonight, when they were out for it, all the good players, all the experienced players were off the field, for them to get the result, I think it's an incredible feat, I really do.
I don't think...
What a season in the Champions League. Unbelievable.
I need a break, man.
We're going to get you a break in about 30 seconds' time. It's been an amazing season, and it isn't over yet. You can see the final of this season's remarkable, breathtaking, stunning Champions League live in Paris on BT Sport on Saturday, the 28th of May. We've got a 2-hour build-up from 6 p.m, BT Sport 1 and BT Sport Ultimate for the third time, Liverpool and Real. Two of the most favourite. We're all kind of just catching our breath. I think maybe what we should just do is remind ourselves and remind people at home what unfolded here this evening, try and make sense of things. And let's be totally clear, we'll skirt over your celebration of the goal. But when City scored, I think all four of us thought, job done.
Job done.
They're in the final.
Yeah, I thought he would go on to score more goals, to be honest, because obviously it meant that Madrid would have to push forward, it'd leave more spaces, and I say that wasn't the case, but an exceptional goal.
Listen, I think it was the final. If you're an Englishman, you wanted that final to get the best football that we've seen this season from watching football. If you watched it this season, Man City, Liverpool was the best form of football that we'd seen.
Highest quality.
You're wanting that in the final, the spectacle, the end of the season finale. But after tonight and this, man, to see Real Madrid and someone like Benzema, who sacrificed a large part of his career and goals in terms of what he's showing now, what he was probably capable of doing. But he said, you know what, I'm gonna put that to one side for someone like Cristiano Ronaldo to fire us to 4 Champions League wins. Him to get to where he is now, I think it could end in a great way for him.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the goal then. It was scored by Riyad Mahrez, and it kind of felt it this time. Like, City had obviously dominated in Manchester. It hadn't been perfect from them this evening, but it just felt like job done, Steve.
Yeah, I think so. Gundogan came on and he had an instant impact, and I thought he was excellent. Just give them a little bit of control in the game. Involved, nice pass into Bernardo Silva. And it was all about decision making here. Shall I go left? Shall I go right? Brings it into Mahrez onto his favoured left foot, and he absolutely thrashes through the ball, doesn't he? Gets his body over, controls it really well, and just whips it past Thibaut Courtois. And I was the same. I just thought, right, that's it, done.
Bernardo Silva was exceptional tonight.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, he's exceptional.
Just gets lost, doesn't it, in the result, unfortunately. Yeah. Everything does. But it was a great little shimmy by him, and
he's the only one. He was the only one in the Man City shirt who played to his full potential, I thought, today. Bernardo Silva. That would be the disappointing thing if you're a City fan. If you're one of them City players, that he was really the only one that got to that level where you go, this is what we normally see from him. Everyone else is probably a little bit below that, and probably it contributes to one of the reasons why they lost.
Let's just talk around that then for a second, because we've seen City be so brilliant this season. What was the reason? And it wasn't awful, but it was just that 1 or 2% that wasn't what we would normally expect. What's that about?
Listen, you can't quantify what this occasion can take out of people. Whether it's concentration, whether it's energy levels before leading up to it and taking it in too much, mentally being prepared for this type of occasion, not preparing yourself for what we felt in this stadium. This place was rocking. If they had a roof, the roof would have come off. And not being prepared for that, you could be left stunned, and all of a sudden the game passes you by and it's taken. And that kind of seemed like it happened
would have been
today.
prepared for.
I think what you realise is the way the game ended, the way the 90 minutes ended. Once you went to extra time, you probably, being ex-footballers, you thought Madrid are going to go on and win it, because it was such a body blow for Man City to concede the way they did. Yes, they've had troubles in the past in this competition, but this was the most brutal way to go out, the way they want. You know, me and Darren Fletcher thought it was done for Man City. We thought they were through. We were talking about the two best teams being Liverpool and Manchester City right from the beginning of the season, and they were first and second favourites to win this tournament. We didn't think we'd see. I've seen 100 million football games. I didn't think it was going to end like that. The most dramatic. I still can't believe he thought Real Madrid were going to win it. I still can't believe that.
It's just the energy in the stadium. That's what it was. I mean, I don't know if you could feel it at home,
but 1-0, energy
here.
Still going to get in the game.
I was thinking they're going to have a chance to get back.
He did say it's not over.
Not over.
But
I weren't looking at like, okay, Liverpool, all your mates are asking for tickets. You got City mates, they're asking for tickets. No way. Real Madrid are still in this game, I thought. But listen, I'll just keep going back to the fact that you can't understand sometimes until you get into a stadium like this, and actually sometimes if you're on the pitch,
no, I know.
As a player, you know
what that can do.
Momentum, it could be a throw-in, a tackle, anything. Have you seen Real Madrid fans celebrating throw-ins towards the end of that game?
He did say up there, you know, you actually did say at one point, he said they could get a couple of goals here, and you went, they're not scoring too. And this was the time when City was still having chances. I mean, Jack Grealish had a couple of great opportunities.
Yeah, and I thought he played well when he come on, but again, it was just moments, and it was just a belief from Real Madrid. But here, he's gone through.
I mean, you talk about Grealish's chance, but Ferland Mendy defensively there. Yeah. Courtois diving out the way. I don't know where he's going. But what a clearance that is by the left-back.
That changes everything. That changes everything for Jack Grealish in a Manchester City shirt. What's happened before this season? Whether you think he's been good or bad or average, that would have changed everything.
And even that, that was a great save that time by Courtois. Comes off the studs of his shoes.
He sent three of them out the stadium at that point.
Again, another player that came on and believed he belonged here. Yeah. Like Bernardo Silva, we spoke about other players, but gutted, absolutely gutted.
Right. You're right, Joe.
They were the length of a stud away. The length of the stud from going to the Champions League final. That is how tight it was.
If City had scored, then Madrid would have scored again anyway, wouldn't they? That's the way it was going, wasn't it?
But let's talk about Madrid.
The way this Champions League's been.
Because we're working in a building site this evening. There's dust everywhere. It's hard to get around. But it's actually the rebuild of this side which is also fascinating. Because these young players, and towards the end of this game, there were so many of them on the field. These young players, they looked like Real Madrid players out there, didn't they? There was no rabbits in headlights out there tonight.
No, they all knew what they had to do, and it was quite refreshing, really, to see them. To see the likes of a load of players tonight who have been in the Premier League on loan, haven't really starred, haven't made us think, Dani Ceballos, Jesus Vallejo came on at the end. Camavinga, I thought, was excellent. He is a new signing, and he looks a superstar, even though he's still a young lad. And then a couple of the stalwarts who've been around for a long time, the Nachos, the Lucas Vazquez, they came on and always do a great job. They're never 10 out of 10, but they're always solid 7, 8. You can rely on them all day long, and that's why they've got bundles of Champions League.
Nacho made some key blocks and tackles tonight. Some key tackles and blocks from Nacho tonight. As I said, this is not the most glamorous Real Madrid team you would have seen in the history of this club, but they played as a team, and they believe they could get the job done. Well,
let's have a look at the goals from the man who will get the headlines. And because we had nowhere else to go, we stood by the pitch here, and it went from, we've got to go back as a consolation, to, I don't quite believe this, we're going to go into extra time.
Yeah, Rodrigo changed the game, obviously, with his 2 goals. But here, you see Cancelo doesn't check his shoulders one. This pass here, you don't understand how difficult that is to get that back across. But he's run Rodrigo. It goes up.
But he went a little bit more defensively today, playing Fede Valverde instead of him. But how to repay it when and how to have an immediate impact. And this was an amazing header, something that you don't necessarily associate him with.
But it's crosses again. We've seen multiple crosses over the last couple of days, and you put the ball in the box. Yeah. Defenders nowadays don't mark.
They can't defend. We say this every game, especially when me and Jolien together. If you cross the ball, you will get opportunities to score goals, because defenders these days, they're not accustomed to having to defend their box.
We've seen Benzema in the first half.
Yeah, Benzema had 2
I just don't think it's a scenario that is practiced. I think teams obviously work on scoring goals, but do they work on just getting it out wide and putting it in the box? And obviously,
you see last night 4 against Villarreal. Liverpool scored just with crosses into the penalty area.
Young defenders, when we were growing up, you worked as hard, if not harder, on defending situations, crosses,
make
balls
sure
into
the forward
front
cannot see your number.
Exactly. But whereas now it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys work in clubs.
I mean, use the defenders.
But you see defenders, the first thing you think about, how good is he on the ball? Yeah. Can he come out with the ball?
Counter-attack?
Yeah, is he comfortable with the ball? Rather than actually do your fundamentals really well, and you'll get a good job in the game. But at the moment, listen, you admire their attacking play as well.
Yes. What did you think of the defending for the penalty?
I thought it was rash. I thought he wasn't patient enough. I think in those situations, there's no need to dive in. Watch when the ball comes into Benzema. He's actually going back away from goal. He's going to the sidelines almost. And there's no real danger. Touch away. Just usher him the way that he's going with the ball. There's no need to jump in there and go to ground. Stay on your feet.
Yeah, and he possibly go with the wrong foot as well. I think you've left yourself no chance of really making a tackle with that sided foot.
You think that's just a bit of tiredness or mental tiredness coming into the game?
Pressure, everything.
Pressure, It's moments, isn't it? It's concentration.
I mean, Ruben Diaz has been Player of the Year last year, wasn't he? I mean, it happens to the best people.
Yeah.
And as I said, you can't understand and you can't explain to the people watching or the people in the stand sometimes the pressure of what is happening on the pitch. And if you can deal with it mentally, if you can get over the line, and we see that the team in white down here can do it on a regular basis. And maybe it's because they're in semi-finals and finals all the time.
The time. It's having that sense of clarity in those moments. A lot of times when it starts, the game kind of starts falling away and being pulled away from you. It can get fuzzy. Situations get like, you panic and you make decisions and rash decisions that you wouldn't necessarily make when the game is kind of under control. And that separates the top teams. And that's why Real Madrid, history tells you that's what they do year in, year out, as Michael was saying.
And we've got the children of some of the Real players look behind us, scoring goals in here. They may well be some superstars of the future out there. There's some
lucky boys and girls. Look at them,
aren't they? It's not.
I'd love to be on that pitch and doing these.
Go on, Ray, jump on, go on.
He missed his touch earlier.
Did he see his touch earlier? It's going too far.
I can imagine Rio
one of the kids
with a sliding tackle. Well, listen, one of those may well be the future, but for the present, when it comes to this football club, it's another Champions League final, not just for Real Madrid. Well done, that man. Look, it was a cauldron of emotion inside here this evening. There was people in tears, people on their feet, scarves being waved, but one man, ice cool over there, Carlo Ancelotti. Let's just talk about the job that he's done, because they're in the final. They've won the league at a canter.
Yeah.
This is, as we've already said, this is a team being rebuilt. I mean, he is a true global icon when it comes to football management, but he doesn't get spoken about in the same terms as some other managers, and maybe it's about time he was.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. He won the Super Cup as well. You have to remember, in Saudi Arabia. So Everton last year, he's come to Madrid after leaving them a couple of years ago and falling out with Florentino to a certain extent. But he's back in, and the job he's done is absolutely exceptional, isn't it? And yes, the fact that he's ice cool on the touchline or doesn't show enough emotion, who knows? And he's quite quiet in his interviews, and he never really rains praise on himself or his staff. It's all about the players. He detracts all the time. I think he's an absolute superstar. But I've never thought in that way, to be honest. I've always respected exactly what he's done, because his record and his mounted trophies speak for itself.
I wonder why it is.
I don't know, sometimes when you're a little bit more subdued and you're not as animated as others, you might go unnoticed, and people, they look to where the noise is at times. But his body of work stands up against any person in any era. Yes. He's just been phenomenal. You speak to players that have played for him, he's an absolute dream to work for, they say. Calm, cool, collected. Again, like Steve said, doesn't get too high when they're doing well. You won't see him here having a party, jumping around. I mean, we saw him at the weekend with a big Cuban Cohiba in his mouth, the sunglasses, Don Carlo, as you know him. But he doesn't get out of his pram. This guy is calm, he's measured, and the guy knows how to win. Simple as.
Oh, 100%. And you see when the goals were going in, players were running to celebrate with him. You can see what he does for this group of players. And like Rio said, I spoke to players that work with him and said his man management is there. It's top by none, and just remarkable manager.
Very good. Well, I know that you mentor young players. You're obviously involved with the England under-21 team. I'm not sure any of these players are eligible for you to call them up, but it is lovely as parents to stand here and watch these youngsters out on the pitch. I mean, these are memories for life. I'm sure all of you and your children remember the days when they're little and they're doing this after these big games.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is my kids only remember when I was at QPR, so it's a bit of a disappointment. But no disrespect to QPR, but you'd have liked to have seen me lift a few trophies live and remember it at least. But no, listen, these are great memories, and these kids, great genes. You'd like to think one or two of them would end up playing.
I mean, they were all out on the pitch enjoying themselves on Saturday. They're all out again. I mean, it's wonderful times for these children, isn't it? All good times at this moment.
How old were your kids when you were here?
I had children when I retired, so...
Oh, so you didn't...
Yeah.
Didn't get the chance.
So they never even watched me play football.
Do they know you play football?
It might be good. That might be a good thing. All the lights have gone off, and on that, let's go.
It is getting to that point. They're giving us a message, but we're not going to go until we've heard from Pep Guardiola. Tonight remains